Next, we have Dr. Peter Knapp. Dr. Knapp is the co-founder and past president of Urology of Indiana, a 35-year physician urology and urogynecology specialty practice, serving 17 hospitals in central Indiana, and is the volunteer clinical associate professor of urology at Indiana University School of Medicine. Dr. Knapp is the co-founder and director of Strand Diagnostics, LLC, a forensic healthcare DNA lab in Indianapolis. In this role, he co-developed the no-error DNA specimen prevalence assay and kit used to eliminate medical errors due to specimen switches and contamination, improve diagnostic accuracy, and provide patient safety in the diagnosis of cancer. He was a founding board member and past president of LUGPA. Dr. Knapp.
Thank you, Anna. Is this on? Thanks, Anna. And we've just heard from our two previous presenters the importance, vital importance really, of diagnosing prostate cancer. I'd like to spend the next few minutes talking about the importance and the value of diagnosing it accurately. And see if we can get to my slides here. Here we go. We're going to talk about DNA specimen provenance assay testing, which was just mentioned. We call it DSPA testing. And we want to talk about its ability to improve diagnostic accuracy as well as providing savings to the Medicare Trust Fund. Today, the promise of precision medicine and targeted therapies requires complete diagnostic accuracy and the elimination of diagnostic errors due to specimen switches and contaminations. And that's what we call specimen provenance complications. There's published clinical evidence that biopsy specimens are subject to occult misidentification errors. And that error rate has been quoted as nearly 1% to as high as 3.5% in some laboratory settings. In a recent article in the Journal of Urology, it was pointed out that 2.5% of prostate biopsies are subject to specimen provenance complications, and nearly 1.3% of positive prostate cancer diagnoses are essentially wrong. The clinical problem is that biopsy specimens can have switching errors, which we call transpositions, or contaminations. And what that is where a pathologist is looking at two patients' biopsy specimen tissue under the same slide and doesn't know which one it is and has no idea that there are two specimens there, and allow errors to be made in the interpretation. And these errors can occur at any step in the diagnostic testing cycle. This slide looks at the no fewer than 18 steps in the diagnostic testing cycle, going from the office where the biopsy is obtained or the hospital surgical suite, all the way to the pathologist and his returning the report back to the treating physician to give the patient the diagnosis and treatment plan. But before all of that happens, there are at least 18 steps where there are multiple areas for human interaction where specimens can either be contaminated, switched, or mislabeled, resulting in a wrong diagnosis being delivered to the wrong patient. We had just seen the Candyland slide of how specimens go through the process and through many hands to get to the treating physician with a diagnosis. And the subject matter, the clinical significance of the issues of all the possibilities for human interaction and for mislabeling, for switching errors and contamination errors that can occur, these specimen provenance complication errors, is that the wrong patient can get the wrong diagnosis and be administered the wrong treatment. There's also substantial cost to these errors. In a recent report by Milliman, which is an independent actuarial firm, and they reported this in April of this year, that they estimated that Medicare will incur $539 million in unnecessary treatment cost over the next 10 years, due to specimen provenance complications from prostate cancer patients alone. That's just prostate cancer. It's a significant cost to healthcare. The solution is DSPA testing, DNA specimen provenance assay testing. And what this involves is taking a simple reference sample from the patient at the time of a biopsy. It can be done with a buccal swab in the cheek, it can be done from a blood test, from a venipuncture, and this specimen is sent to the DNA laboratory, where it is later matched with a tissue specimen from the histology specimen from the patient's tissue biopsy to confirm the identity and the diagnosis. It establishes specimen provenance, it establishes specimen purity, and it also provides diagnostic accuracy with DNA certainty. DNA provenance testing is widespread throughout the country. There are over 250 labs ordering D-spot testing regularly. 12 of the 15 largest urology practices use D-spot testing as the standard of care. And there are over a dozen patient and physician organizations that are demanding D-spot testing, including the American Urologic Association, LUGPA, Zero, Men's Health Network, and the Veterans Health Council. The problem is Medicare beneficiaries today are denied access to D-spot testing. CMS, unfortunately, has asserted it does not have the authority to pay for D-spot testing, and therefore the need for the current legislation that's been proposed. Prostate Cancer Misdiagnosis Elimination Act, which is sponsored by Congressman Bouchon and Congressman Payne, clarifies that D-spot testing is a covered benefit to protect Medicare beneficiaries and also to provide savings to the Medicare Trust Fund. So thank you very much for your attention today.
Thank you, Dr. Knapp.